Hello, welcome to ReCappin with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ReCappin Podcast.
Also, comment, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We would love to hear your ratings of the movies and shows we review.
Email us your audio file to recappingpodcast@gmail.com and we will play it during the show.
Or DM us on Instagram and we will post and read it on air.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
So, Delora, to say that these last few days have been interesting is an understatement. How are you doing, sis?
Girl, recovering. How about you?
I'm really just trying to keep up. It seems like every 5 minutes there's an update on, Slapgate for anybody who has not somehow been paying attention to the news since Sunday. But I don't want to get ahead of things. We have plenty to talk about because today is our headlines and hot topics episode.
Yes,
but
it is.
What you think ultimately of our recap of the Adam Project? You get any feedback from anybody?
My mom and my sister saying that they loved it, but they also enjoyed the movie. How about you?
I haven't gotten any feedback, but I could tell y'all it's the gift that keeps on giving. I love, for some reason, this project so much. I keep seeing so much on social media that I'm like, oh, it just makes me love this film even more, X, Y, and Z. So if you guys, again, have not checked out the Adam Project on Netflix, watch it and then listen to our recap of it, because I do think I like it more and more as I see more things posted on social media about it. So Let's get into our quick headlines and hot topics. And we even have a microdose today of Atlanta. So if you guys have not watched the first 2 episodes of Atlanta, please check it out. First up, Kim K apology. So I got the apology I requested, kinda, in a sit-down interview with GMA anchor Robin Roberts on Monday. Kim Kardashian addressed the remarks she made to Variety in a March 9th cover story about her family's upcoming Hulu reality television series, The Kardashians. The statement drew immediate backlash on social media. Roberts pointed out that many called out Kardashian's privilege and how it may have helped the Skims founder's success. But Kardashian said her comment was taken out of context and that she's really sorry if it was interpreted as dismissing the hard work of business women. She said, it wasn't a blanket statement towards women or to feel like I don't respect the work or think that they don't work hard. I know that they do. It was taken out of context, but I'm really sorry if it was received that way. Kardashian explained to Roberts that she had previously been asked in a Variety interview about being famous for being famous, which prompted her more forceful answer. Delora, what are your thoughts on this kind of apology?
Kim, sit down. This isn't about you. You've had several weeks as the headliner with Kanye's behavior, with you introducing Pete, which everybody knew was a strategic move to get off this ill-stated statement from, as you mentioned, Variety. Sit down, please. Be humble.
Well, I remember when I sent this to you, I think you said it best when you said nobody's checking for this right now. It was Monday. We're coming off of Slapgate. I'm not really looking for an apology at this point because I've moved so far beyond that comment now after everything that went down at the Oscars. So I just think too little too late. And to me, it wasn't really hard. It didn't feel like an apology. I just one of those people who, you say that they did something to you and they're like, well, I apologize if you felt like that hurt you, or you know what I mean? It's like almost that caveat people put in when it's like, sorry, but not really sorry.
She's just trying to control the narrative because it went off like wildfire, as it should, because it's like, really? Really?
Yeah, I mean, again, I figured at some point she was going to address it, but I thought it was going to be more of like a brush off comment on the Hulu series or something like that. So it's interesting that she had more of a formal conversation. But again, I didn't take it as a really heartfelt apology personally. So
again, too preoccupied on other pressing
on
matters,
other pop culture topics.
A Kardashian.
All right, let's move on to our next quick headline. This one, it broke today as we are recording, which is Wednesday. Bruce Willis's family has announced that the actor is unfortunately retiring from the profession after being diagnosed with aphasia, a language disorder caused by brain damage that affects a person's ability to communicate. Willis's family members posted a joint statement to social media announcing the actor's retirement. To Bruce's amazing supporters, as a family, we wanted to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and has recently been diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him. This is a really challenging time for our family, and we're so appreciative of your continued love, compassion, and support. We are moving through this as a strong family unit and wanted to bring his fans in because we know how much he means to you, as you do to him. As Bruce always says, live it up. And together we plan to do just that. Delora, what were your thoughts when this news came in?
I was saddened. Bruce Willis is the action star of my growing up, seeing all the Die Hard movies and just really enjoying his movie career. He's a superstar, you know.
And heavily debated whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I mean, it's Bruce Willis. You know what I'm saying?
Yippee-yi-yay, mother. You know what I'm saying? I mean, completely invested. Him and Demi, Rumor, Tula, like all their kids. Like, it just saddens me. And it made me think of Ali. Like the cost of your career affecting the quality of your life. He's 67 years old. I'm just so sad. And I think about his co-star in several films, Samuel L. Jackson. He's 72, still kicking, still doing action and, you know, making box office money. I don't know. I'm just really saddened. How about you?
You mentioned that you thought of Ali and the cost of your career. Did they mention somewhere that the brain damage was as a result of something that happened during his film career?
Looked up what the condition that he has, and it's usually associated with like a stroke, or if you hit your head, something along those lines. And I am making the assumption, being an action star all these years, he probably got banged up a little bit along the way, I'm imagining.
Because I was wondering about the whole brain damage side of it, because I think I texted you, like, I had never heard of aphasia before today. So I was curious about it as well. So when I heard brain damage, I'm like, but what was the result? And I don't think, obviously, they're probably going to disclose necessarily too much about it because it's a health condition. But I mean, it could be that. I mean, if that's the case, Tom Cruise, be very careful. Like, you know, wrestlers, all sorts of people who, you know, football players. I mean, obviously football players already have to worry about CTE and stuff like that as well. So, you know, just anybody who then is in a more physical line of work, you know, have to be careful. But definitely sad. I definitely always hate to see people who are so seemingly like full of life. Like he's always seemed like someone who was so like vibrant to be kind of taken down by these types of diseases, because this is essentially going to rob him of his ability to speak and really understand and grasp it, you know, language. And that's devastating, you know?
Absolutely.
Just on a human level, beyond talents and acting and all that, on a human level, it's upsetting. So wishing, you know, him and his family all the best for sure as they navigate this. Moving on to our next quick headline. Doja Cat says she's quitting music, Delora. And it looks like she's dead ass about it because she's doubled down. She made headlines in recent days by insisting on social media that she was ready to leave her rising career behind, and then took back to Twitter making the same claims. The controversy began last week when she sent a storm of angry tweets after her headlining set at Paraguay's Asuncionico Festival was canceled due to flooding. She said, "It's gone and I don't give a F anymore. I effing quit. I can't wait to effing disappear. And I don't need you to believe me anymore." followed by everything is dead to me, music is dead, and I'm a effing fool for ever thinking I was made for this. This is a effing nightmare. Unfollow me. Since then, she's also vowed to stop taking photos with fans, expressed disappointment in the performance she put on during the first weekend of Lollapalooza, Brazil, and exchanged terse words with the production assistant with NBC Sports. You're kind of a Doja Cat fan, from what I can recall. How did you feel about this announcement potentially?
Yeah, she's a controversial figure, but I was one of those people that was asking, is Doja Cat out of timeout now? Like, I love her latest album, Planet Her. Honestly, it's giving Dave Chappelle, it's giving Martin Lawrence, it's giving Hollywood, the entertainment industry. It's a rough road, and these people are still human. No matter how strong or how mentally sound we assume they all are, I'm really impressed with the people who've done it for so long. You know what I mean? Like, what's your magic sauce? Seriously.
Stability. I think that's always been from even child actors, all of that. It seems like the people who make it have stability in their personal lives, have like a strong family structure, have something, because even Adele, when she talked about the fact that her husband gave her such stability and a structure at a time where she feels like she could have gone off the rails. I think sometimes that is lacking for some people. I'm not saying that's the case in Doja's case, because to your point, to me, it does sound like burnout. The music industry seems like it's a toxic place for women.
And she worked her ass off last year. I remember she had some social media posts, and it was like in October, and she was like, I got 20 shows until December, and then I'm taking a nap or something like that. She seems like a hard worker also. She's burnt out. That's my assumption. I hope that she's not quitting, but maybe she's doing this for her health at the end of the day, and was like, this is it. Again, I now understand why Britney shaved her head. I get the umbrella. Like, you go through this life and there are moments that makes you just want to throw your hands up in the air and say, I quit.
And I think even, the extent that Britney went through, I don't think most artists will ever be able to understand the pure circus that Britney has surrounding her. But to your point, I'm sure it is burnout. It's unfortunate because Doja has been so hot. Like, I've enjoyed a lot of her performances. She's been really in demand. And even just like, as a person, she's like entertaining as hell, like on social media.
She's hilarious. She's insane. Like,
she's very unique. She's a very unique personality.
Very quirky. There we go.
Yeah. So I hope she doesn't retire either. Or if she does retire from music, at least just continue to give us some gems on these internets. Because I mean,
Gaga went through this too. You remember that?
Well, I was gonna say Tiana Taylor has also said that she's retiring from music. She doesn't feel appreciated. With everything she does, she didn't feel appreciated. So there's plenty of really talented people who kind of go through this process, and, I guess we'll see where the chips fall.
And with Gaga, she pivoted. She started singing what do they call it? The American Songbook with Tony Bennett. Like, she
said, let me go to the legends to restore my faith in the artistry. Okay. All right, let's move on to what everyone is waiting for, including us. Hot topic, the only hot topic, Oscars recap. We're talking fashion, we're talking winners, we're talking the slap, and we're talking the aftermath and reactions. Delora, you taking a deep breath over there? The event that has dominated headlines since Sunday. We have to talk about it. So let's start with fashion. Give me your top 3 best dressed from Oscars night. And there were so many beautiful looks. It was hard for me to kind of narrow down to 3. But what are your top 3?
Okay, so Jessica Chastain and Gucci. I love the color and the flow of this gown. And she knew she was the winner, baby. You know?
Jessica Chastain is gorgeous to me.
Absolutely. Lupita Nyong'o in Prada. Sis came.
She said, I am the award. Okay.
She's like, I know y'all haven't seen me, but let me remind you.
I am an Academy Award winner, baby.
Exactly. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw a man in there.
Yes, give me a man.
Soon Lee in Versace. Versace.
Mm-hmm.
Him in that red, he looks so good.
Yes. I'm still low-key hoping that there's something cooking in the kitchen between him and Chriselle, but I'm gonna let it go.
Friends.
Whatever. Girl, whatever.
You're so funny.
All right, my top three. Like I said, it was really hard to narrow down because I found so many looks to be gag worthy this season. So my first up, my girl Zendaya in Valentino. Flawless, effortless, gorgeous. It was the simplicity that stunned me.
It was light work for sure, but it was the Vanity Fair look for me. That the Vanity Fair party.
That suit. And then she did her own makeup. I said,
yes,
girl, stop it.
Yes.
Stop it. I loved this because, like I said, it was so, it felt so effortless. Like it didn't feel like, oh, we had to spend a lot of time thinking about this look. We know your body. We know what's going to look good on you. We've had this conversation with Timothée Chalamet, no shirts today. So we're going to do a half shirt and we're going to do this amazing skirt. Like it was beautiful. It was beautiful to me. It was knocked it out of the ballpark. Elegante. Okay. Number two, the woman who won her first Academy Award at the top of the show, Ariana DeBose, in that red Valentino pantsuit and cape. Stunning. Loved the hair, gave me 90s vibes, loved everything about it. It was beautiful. Okay. And then number three for me, the woman who did not think she was going to get the invite to the Oscars, Rachel Ziegler, in that black Dior dress. Come through.
Yeah, she was so cute.
Beautiful. Loved the bob. Loved the look. Gorgeous. Honorable mention for me is my girl, her. Love that color, that pop of color. I'm not sure. It looked like a greenish, but it could have been more yellow.
It was giving me green.
Sometimes you can't tell when you see it on TV versus what the color is in person, but it was beautiful. I really enjoyed her. I loved even when she came out to present, she was like, I had to let the people see the outfit real quick. And then also honorable mention Timothée Chalamet, because who shows up to the Oscars without a shirt on except for Timothée Chalamet? Okay.
It was trying just a little bit for me. I'm like, okay, let's be a rebel.
I don't mind you trying, Timothy. I don't mind you trying. It's the Oscars. You try at the Oscars, and your try was to do your thing. I like his better than Kristen in those shorts. Everybody loved the shorts. I was not a fan.
I didn't mind the shorts because she had the legs. But I like to give my honorable mentions. The Williams sisters, they looked so good.
Has Venus not been killing? Like, I love Serena.
Yes,
Venus
who's been dressing her?
Killing it.
Law Roach has been dressing her this award season, and she's never looked better.
That makes sense.
Serena in this Gucci, this pink, and that body yaddy yaddy.
I loved her hair too. It was so feminine.
I love the blunt and then the gloves, the lacy gloves. Yes, with that giant ring on the outside. Yes, and then Venus was in Ali Saab giving us all the boobage. It was definitely, like Joy said, she was like, it was a lot of cleavage during this Oscar. Because I love Tracy, but Tracy, it just didn't do it for me.
I know. Tracy would have been probably in at least my top 5, but the top was kind of ill-fitting to me for the amount of cleavage.
I was going to say, I know she could tailor it to perfection, but it came off as her boobs being a little bit heavy for the dress.
And I say that as a member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, so I don't be having these problems, baby. You still looked amazing, Tracy. All right, Delora. Now that we've gotten the fashion out of the way, which I guess we should also say probably honorable mention as a couple. We had Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey, who made their couple debut on the Vanity Fair red carpet, and they were immaculate.
They were picture perfect. Picture perfect. And I hate to say it. Let's say I'm a hater, but you know our thoughts on Lori. Anyway.
I moved past them. I ship them now. I ship them hard. So
I don't mind them.
All right, guys. Let's move on to the awards themselves. Let me start off with saying we were pretty damn spot on with our predictions last episode. I think the only category I ended up missing was production design because Dune cleaned up.
Sure did.
But let's go down our winners list, and I'm going to save Best Actor in a Leading Role last for obvious reasons, okay? All right, so first up, Best Actress in a Supporting Role went to the no-brainer, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. Best Actor in a Supporting Role went to Troy Kotsur for Coda. Again, no-brainer.
We need a moment because the way I cried,
I
was crying. I knew it was going to happen, Avi, right? But to see the Academy do the sign language for clapping or celebrating, it just was so beautiful. So beautiful.
2 big points for me that made me cry. The guy who signed for him was crying so hard on the way to the podium. That was one thing that got me. And then just his speech talking about his father, how his father had become paralyzed. He was the best signer in the family. And wanting, still admiring him and making his family proud. Like all of it just touched me. And then you had the previous supporting actress winner from last year standing there beaming at him, holding his trophy for him. Because at first I was like, wait, why are you holding his trophy? I was like, oh, so he can sign. Duh.
I needed her to get a little bit out of the picture.
Yeah, but I think she was so caught up in the moment as well. You could see her absorbed. Because remember, she had her moment with Brad Pitt last year. So I'm like, girl, you are having moments every year. Living your best life. But both Ariana and Troy had very emotional speeches, very touching speeches, and Troy got me. I mean, Troy had me shedding a couple tears. All right, we're gonna move down to Best Cinematography. Greg Fraser, Dune. Best Animated Feature, Encanto. What did you think about the Encanto performance with the surprise from Meg Thee Stallion and Becky G? And what did you think? Because I think it was Ana Navarro on The View saying she's a purist. She wants just the original version. What did you think? Because I know how much you love this film and the soundtrack.
We talk about Bruno all the time in this household. And I was kind of thrown off because I'm like, what's going on? But I really did enjoy Meg Thee Stallion verse. She was like, she referred to Bruno as the new Let It Go. And it just was great. It was Meg.
She did the shout out to Zendaya in the audience, and Zendaya got so hyped. I was like, if that
somebody
was
like, somebody on the internet was like, Zendaya was the only one that understood the assignment. Like, yes, let's get hype. We have Meg Thee Stallion here. Exactly. Because when I saw her on the red carpet, I'm like, what is she doing here? But I am kind of a purist, but it was a celebratory moment. I love the different colors. Again, I forgot to mention Becky G is another honorable mention because her look was flawless. Okay.
So many beautiful looks, man. It was hard.
Yes. I mean, we've been cooped up.
I know this, but the stylist really showed up and showed out. I feel like that's how I feel. You know what I mean? I loved it. I love the performance. The only thing that I didn't like was once we did have the kind of superstars take over, the audio was low. They needed to up the audio so we could hear them over the band because they had this gorgeous full thing going on behind them. And I'm like, hey, I need to hear the words because it seemed like their lyrics were a little bit different. So I wanted to catch everything. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. All right, let's keep going. Best Documentary Feature, Summer of Freaking Soul. Questlove is another one that got me in my feelings. Even though I was distracted at the time, I caught most of his speech and it was very touching. Because again, these are moments that culminate in the full breadth of some people's careers and experiences. And this project was so important for him and for the culture and for music. And we recap this. So if you guys have not listened to the recap and seen this, please do. But it was a moment.
It absolutely was a moment. And I have to admit, it was hard for me to determine if he was caught up emotionally because his father wasn't there or the events that happened prior to his award. Because I know he has skin in the game, but I mean, it was a moment of Black Hollywood in general. But
well, he said he didn't catch it because he was meditating. So he didn't he did not catch the events that had transpired. He had been meditating.
Wow. Well, that makes me feel a lot better because, you know, I wanted Questlove to have his moment. And his social media, his stories were amazing because he had it from his perspective. Like, so the camera, wherever he was walking, you walked in the theater with him. You saw his Oscar and the gold party where he DJ'd and everything like that. And it was just very unique. And the next day when he showed up at Jimmy Fallon to be interviewed and not just work, you know, so proud of him. Proud of him.
And shout out to DJ D Nice for playing DJ duties throughout the ceremony, by the way. Look at you, sir. Do your thing.
Yes.
I love that suit, by the way. Best original song, Delora. So I know we were rooting for other people, but called it that it was going to be No Time to Die.
It's always a Bond song.
It's always a Bond song, which is almost unfair because then the odds are stacked against you to know that if a Bond song is coming up that year, that is always the favored song. Now, I love Billie Eilish. Like, I thought her rendition was beautiful.
Yeah.
But Beyonce don't just show up to an award show just cause.
That part.
So why y'all have my girl kick y'all off and sit in the audience with her whole husband to not win this award? That's all I'm asking. Her performance gave me chills. It was really, really good. I will say, you know, it's not my favorite Beyonce song. I just feel like I need more. It was simplistic in terms of like, there wasn't enough buildup for me. Like, I don't think there's a bridge. So the song structure itself threw me off, but obviously she knows how to give a live performance. It was the visuals. It was, as always, the Black beauty and the Black excellence. It was the fact that this was being done in Compton. Like we had already discussed it was already rumored to be the case.
It's the braids. It's the beads.
It's
you had the color of the tennis balls.
You had the actresses who played Venus and Serena taking part. I mean, I just loved it. I loved it. I really did. I had chills. I was like, girl, you always breathe life into me. No, I didn't catch Blue.
Oh, Blue was front and center.
I did not catch Blue. My eyes were fixated on Beyonce. Like,
yeah.
I was like, if anybody was sitting here watching this with me, they would think something is wrong with me because I am like enamored. Like I told y'all, I've been in my B feelings because I just rewatched Homecoming, and she is my entertainer of this generation that just is magical to me. I don't know how else to put it. Like, she's just magical. Every performance is like, there's nothing else I could ask of you at this point. Nothing. You have serviced me so well in your capacity as an entertainer. I was so excited to see
that she was performing, because when was the last time we saw a Beyonce performance?
Exactly. That's what, like, it's almost like she came out of retirement for this, and y'all still didn't give my girl her Oscar. Okay. Congratulations, Billy and Phineas, though. I do enjoy y'all.
Beyonce about to make the next Bond song.
It's for real. Why haven't they asked her too? That's another thing. Maybe they will, because it's been rumored that the next Bond will be a Black woman. No spoilers for anybody who has not seen the last Bond film, but it's possible. All right, best costume design. Jenny Bevan, Cruella. We called it.
Mm-hmm.
Her speech was funny.
Very intriguing. Yeah,
it was funny.
She was rambling a bit. Yes,
it was funny. Best production design, Doom. Patrice Vermette, set decoration. I do not want to mispronounce this. I think it's Zuzanna Sipos. All right, let's move on. Best actress in a leading role. Jessica Chastain, The eyes of Tammy Faye. We called this, she had been kind of running up the ranks at the end of award season. So,
Yes.
And like you said, if she really damaged her eyes, she now has an Oscar to
Exactly.
make the experience worthwhile. All right. Best director, Jane Campion, The Power of the Dog. She absolutely learned her lesson.
Stayed on script.
She did. She learned her lesson. Okay. Best picture, Coda. Again, it was a historical night for many, many reasons, but the
absolutely
beautiful reasons really were so touching to see those folks on stage and for them to be able to have this moment. And again, called it sleeper kind of, towards the end of award season. Y'all did y'all thing. Check out that recap. And finally, Delora, best actor in a leading role, Will Smith for King Richard. So just in case anyone, again, has not heard about Slapgate, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars after Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair. And Jada Pinkett Smith has been candid about her struggles with alopecia. Chris managed to keep his composure and the show went on, as has the backlash, reactions, and conversations surrounding it. A new detail reported by multiple outlets as of the day we are recording comes from the Academy, who is still deciding disciplinary action, saying they'd asked Will to leave the Dolby Theater after this situation, but he refused. That point has been a big topic of conversation in the subsequent days. Now, Delora, I went back and listened to our last Hot Topics episode, and I said something along the lines of, if Will Smith doesn't win Best Actor, it'd be another slap in the face, and I'm tired of being slapped.
Mm-hmm.
Where are these lotto numbers? Because who could have foreseen how those words were indicative of what was to come?
Girl, ever since 2016, something has been off with the Matrix. That's all I got to say. If you had told me actually on Sunday that Will Smith would be doing something like this, I would have laughed in your face.
Give us your reaction to the moment, because we both watched this live, as well as your thoughts today.
I knew this was coming. All right, Ashley. I was in complete shock. So here's the deal. When Chris Rock made the joke, I was like, what are you doing? And I saw Will Smith laugh. And I was like, okay, he laughed the same way he laughed at the Regina Hall joke, right?
Correct. Yep.
But then Jada's face was intense. And we didn't see Will look at Jada or anything like that. The next thing you saw was Will walking up on that stage. And I thought that slap was staged because I was like, that's not real.
Same.
But when he started yelling and cursing at him, I was like, oh, okay, this is real. And it was unsettling. I told you, I was shooketh, okay?
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, I can't look at this again. I can't watch replays. I can't even hear the audio right now because my soul is not at peace right now. Like, I need to calm down. And I think I was wired all evening long, because the shock came out of disappointment. The shock came out of sadness. But then Chris Rock need to watch what he's talking about. There was no reason for him to speak about Jada, one. But two, I'm sick of Black women being punchlines. We had already gone through a whole week of KBJ's confirmation being bullied. We know the Smiths have been ridiculed since 2020 Red Table Talk. So I just say all this to say that slap for me was Will Smith leveling up because he knew the Oscar was coming and saying, I am no longer a joke. Leave my family alone. We're done. You had your fun. We're done. What about you, Ashley?
Yeah. I echo so much of what you said. I was not aware of what had happened when I watched. I think actually the first time I may have been looking down when the actual physical slap happened. I remember seeing him walk up on the stage. I remember seeing like something, and then cutting in the American aired version. There was a pause. There was like a muting.
Yes.
And so I had to go to really figure out what had happened. I had to watch clips. I looked on social. I had conversations with you and others, because I agree. I was like, this has to be a bit. Like, this is Chris Rock and Will Smith, right? Like, these are superstars in their respective fields. And Will Smith, it has this image of being such a nice guy, being so, I wouldn't even say passive. He's not passive. He's like a goofball. You know what I mean? So it was inconceivable to me. And these are the Oscars. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was inconceivable that somehow it was real. So once it sank in that it was, I couldn't focus for the rest of the night. You know, I was going down so many rabbit holes on social media. Even when he picked up his Best Oscar award, I was still like, how's he going to handle the speech? I think we both were like, how's he going to handle this speech? Because we knew he was so highly favored to pick it up. And I was like, what's going to happen? Is somebody going to rush the stage? Like, I had no idea. And so I couldn't even sleep. Like, you guys, I was up so late on Sunday night on social, on Twitter.
I told you to go to bed.
Back and forth. I know you did.
You did. And
I was like, girl, I can't. Like, I cannot. I was glued. I was hooked. It was like, it was a problem.
I was so heartbroken. I couldn't watch everyone's opinion about Will Smith because, again, I love Will Smith. We were rooting for him. This was his night.
We were absolutely rooting for him. Nobody, even his own mother in a subsequent interview, has said she's never seen him like this before. So it had to even have been a shock to himself that he snapped. Because that's at the end of the day, you know, as pop culture enthusiasts, and you've already mentioned it, we witnessed the drama that has surrounded the Smiths' personal lives and issues over these past couple of years. And I really do feel like Will snapped. He wasn't smacking Chris just for a joke. He was taking out that anger and frustration for years of feeling like he was the butt of the joke. He was disrespected. He was in some ways emasculated. And it was unfortunate. Was it an overreaction? Yes. And one that he has now expressed regret for, because as we know, he issued an apology on Monday via social media. So let me read Will Smith's apology. Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Sincerely, Will. So he issued this apology. I know a lot of people feel like he should have apologized on the stage when he accepted his Oscar. I'm sure it's easy to say that without being in the moment, because a lot of times when you're in the moment, you still have those feelings that possibly cause the initial issue.
He should not have apologized on that stage if he didn't mean it. And he obviously would not have meant it. So he didn't. So that was fine.
And people also took issue with the fact that he went on and partied afterwards and went to the Vanity Fair party, danced to Getting Jiggy with It. Chris Rock also attended an after party at after the awards. And, Diddy has gone on record to say that they made amends afterwards. We still have yet to hear from Chris Rock. True.
Several outlets said that they have not been able to support Diddy's claims, specifically E! News. So I just want to know what's the deal with Chris Rock's obsession with Jada, because they actually worked together on Madagascar. They did all those movies together, right? Will and Chris have worked together. But then in 2016, during the Oscars that he hosted, he had a whole bit ridiculing Jada for boycotting the Oscar for being, quote unquote, so white and not nominating her husband for Concussion. He made the bit of, well, how are you boycotting if you weren't invited? Right. And I'm just like, have you ever seen a host or a comedian go after a famous person's wife like that? Like, I don't understand. I got the joke, but I don't understand why he had to even say what he said on Sunday in the first place, because it wasn't even on the script. It was an ad lib.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That was very disheartening. Again, I'm sick of Black women being the punchline, right? And I'm also annoyed because the same people who are like, oh my goodness, a slap. Y'all be like Second Amendment any day. What? I don't condone violence. I don't. But isn't that what America's known for? Am I going too deep? I don't mean to go too deep.
I think you're echoing the sentiments of plenty of people who have given an opinion, especially on the word that a lot of people I keep hearing is trauma and traumatic. And I can't speak to what people consider to be their trauma, but I just find it interesting that seems to be a buzzword that's going around. And so
I do understand it. Because for me, it wasn't the slap that disturbed me. It was the yelling and the cursing. Like, that really bothered me. And just because I don't like anybody yelling and cursing at me, right?
But I just still feel like trauma, again, I can't speak to what causes people trauma, but I feel like there's multiple people PTSD using it in the same reaction to the same situation that I'm like, so did y'all all have the same shared experience, or are people starting to almost parrot each other? I guess is more of what my thought was, because everybody has an opinion and there have been varied reactions from celebrities. Everybody from Tiffany Haddish, Judd Apatow, who said he could have killed that man, Jim Carrey, who was just disgusted, Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes, as well as Jada, who spoke of a season of healing. The majority, particularly of comedians, seem to take real issue despite Will's mea culpa. I won't read all of them, but Jimmy Kimmel went on the Bill Simmons podcast and said, was there anyone who didn't like Will Smith an hour ago in the world? Like, no one, right? And now he doesn't have a single comedian friend. That's for sure. Tiffany Haddish may dispute that, but I digress. The point is,
Martin Lawrence may dispute that. The
point is, I cannot say what anybody else's reaction really was to this particular incident. I do, think about Chris Rock. I know we talked majority about Will Smith. I do absolutely think about Chris Rock in this scenario, because I am still so curious to hear his thoughts about this situation, about how he's handling it. Because, I know a lot of people are pulling up now clips of him discussing traumas and abuses he experienced in his childhood, as well as pulling up excerpts from Will's book about possible reasoning behind why he did all of this. And I don't want to get into the psychology of these two men, right? Like, I can't really speak to what their experiences were and how they interpreted this particular event. But I guess I say this. I hope that they're both able to move past this. Like, I hope that Chris didn't feel so embarrassed by this or upset by this that he won't be able to move on. And I hope that Will's legacy is not completely tarnished by his lowest moment that we've seen him in publicly in his career.
Yeah, I am going to offer him grace. He has apologized. I have no idea what this aftermath is going to look like, just because I had no idea Will Smith would do anything remotely like this.
Yep.
And then when it comes to Chris Rock, I was absolutely impressed with his ability to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know he was probably in shock.
Yeah.
But the fact that he kept the show going, that is just, I think that former Oscar host Hat came on at that time and was like, okay, we got to keep going. We kind of keep going. I'm surprised that the whole show didn't stop. It just should have went to a commercial, I imagined.
Right. I think it was just his professionalism in general in the face of something like that. Like, he was even still kind of making, like, his gut reaction was to still kind of make light of it in the moment. Yeah. He was like, Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. I think that was the greatest moment in the history of television. You know what I mean? To still kind of find the levity in something that someone just publicly did to you like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely give kudos to him. But I want to give parity to the discussion, because I know some of you have made it seem like, oh, everybody just wants to kind of talk about the Will Smith side of it, but what about the Chris Rock side?
Yeah.
We acknowledge both. We definitely acknowledge both.
Yeah. And I also want Chris to apologize for the joke. I do. So my favorite.
And there was a fake apology or a fake statement going around, guys. If you saw it, that was, decided or mentioned that was not real.
So I hate to say it like this, but my favorite take of this debacle on Sunday comes specifically from the theater world, specifically William Shakespeare's Scottish play. So I am looking at Town and Country. The headline says, former theater kids everywhere had the same reaction to Will Smith hitting Chris Rock. I didn't know this, but apparently Shakespeare's Macbeth is said to be cursed. So much so that if you are in a theater, you are not allowed to say the name of the play. You have to refer to it as the Scottish play or the Bard's play. On Sunday, Chris Rock made a comment to Denzel saying that he did a great job. And literally moments later, Will Smith went on stage and smacked the shit out of him. So
that explains it all. Okay.
No, but like real talk, anybody who is of the theater is like, y'all, do y'all realize he said Macbeth in the theater?
Okay.
And the only way you're allowed to say the name of the Scottish play is if you are in rehearsals or actually performing the play.
And that's referring to if it's spoken in a theater.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, that's why I'm saying it now.
So
because
freely.
I'm not in the theater. Correct.
Okay.
But that's the curse.
That is so fascinating.
This went back around 1606, the first time the play was performed. It was riddled with disaster. So. Okay.
Well, a few final things to mention. The ratings for Sunday Night Ceremony did soar 56% above last year's number. 15.3 million people watched, up from 9.8 million from 2021. Still the second lowest number in Oscars history, but I feel like they're building, obviously.
And congratulations, Will Packer.
Exactly. That was going to be my next statement. I know a lot of people want to tie this to, it's unfortunate and embarrassing and not a good look that this is a Black man who was producing it and this happened. This could have happened on anybody's watch. As a Black person, I'm not accepting that narrative. Will Smith is an individual. This does not represent Black America.
It does not. I hate that people kept saying this is the Blackest Oscars ever. No, it's not. The Black people I know don't be acting fool like that. But I'm not going to throw them away. I'm going to stay beside him.
So we're recording on Wednesday, as I said, and ticket sales appear to be soaring for Chris Rock's stand-up tour. He's performing tonight in Boston. And again, he's yet to make any public statements following the incident besides that fake statement that circulated. I really wish I was at this show because I am so curious to hear what he's going to say in his first public appearance.
I'm also super impressed with all the actors and everybody who was in that audience. They just sat there like, Lupita, like, oh.
Because I think everyone reacted in the same way. Like, it's so funny. I heard recently somebody say that life is nothing like, I think it was Andy Warhol, because I was watching this documentary about him on Netflix, that life is nothing like television and movies because our reactions are not that quick. When you're in the moment, a lot of times it takes you a while to process what is happening. Yeah. So I think most people were shocked, just like all of us who were sitting at home. Like, again, there's so many people that maybe we could have had the expectation that something like this could have even remotely happened. Will Smith was at the very bottom of that list. As somebody had said recently, nobody has a more well-crafted public image than Will Smith, except maybe a Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise has Scientology. Yes. So not even Tom Cruise has the image that Will Smith has had over the course of his career. So, we'll see what happens with this, Delora, again, especially as the Academy weighs in. Do you have any final thoughts?
I do. Those women were freaking hilarious. I don't think I laughed that much during an award ceremony in a very long time. The J.K. Simmons and and Timothy comparison was funny.
That killed me. But then Regina was like, but I still hit though. I was waiting on his reaction.
I know.
I was waiting.
Oh my goodness. I had so many favorite moments. Like I just could not, I laughed so much. And bravo to all the ladies.
We do have a microdose. Atlanta. As we talked about, Atlanta returned for its season 3 premiere after a 4-year hiatus. And man, Donald Glover really had me going through it in 2 back-to-back episodes.
I think I misspoke at our last conversation because yes, I think 2018 was the last.
Yeah. It's been 4 years. It's been a long time. And man, Donald Glover was ready. Okay. First, we started with a very creepy intro with a white and black man out fishing at night and references to real life Lake Lanier. So, of course, I had to look this up. Of course, there's rumors about unexplained deaths and all this. So y'all had to creep me out because y'all know I don't do horror. Then we head into the episode without any of our core cast. Instead, it's focused on a black boy, L'Aquarius, who is acting up in school and is taken from his house by CPS to a foster family headed by 2 white women. They have 3 other black children living there who seem to tolerate their disgusting food, smelly house, and lack of washcloths. This was also based upon the real life story of the Hart family who killed themselves and their adopted children when one of the moms intentionally drove off a cliff back in 2018. But thankfully, there was an alternate ending in Donald Glover's tale, as I do not think I could have handled the alternative. So what did you think of episode 1?
Very dark. Again, with the dark humor. If you want to learn more about what they call it, water towns, all the towns in America that were purposely flooded that were predominantly Black, Amber Ruffin has a wonderful breakdown of that. So check that out on YouTube. When I was watching it, I was like, I know he ain't about to reenact that, that couple and their adopted Black kids. And then sure enough, I told Dave, I'm like, they're going to run off the bridge. Like the story happened, like to your point, several years ago. I mean, I did catch the humor, right? The humor of where's the washcloths? Oh, we don't have any. Oh, they don't know how to cook, but everything sounds so legit. Like we're making kombucha. Oh, the way you eat chicken is so greasy and so unhealthy, but eating raw chicken
exactly.
Okay?
I was like, so was it raw? Because that's what I was thinking the whole time. I said, you're going to get these kids E. coli.
I could not
salmonella.
I thought it was disgusting. But yeah, it was intense. It's just one of those shows that you have to catch the humor, right? It's very smart, quote unquote, but it's like, am I really going to be sitting through episodes like this in the season?
No, I was like, Donald Glover is actually trying to traumatize me. He didn't tell me I needed to be sedated to watch this. Like it was too much because these are based on actual things. That's when it hits different. You know what I mean? Like I had to then go back and look at the little boy who had these moments, wore that same fedora, hugged the cop in that viral video. Body was never recovered in the wreckage of that crash. Like, oh my, it was a lot to digest. And I was like, yo, are you trying to really kill me emotionally tonight?
I'm
it
like,
was a lot
what's the
to
motivation?
digest.
What's the intention of this? Yeah.
That's when I can use the word traumatized, Delora. Okay. Anyway, the biggest thing for me in the episode was when the mothers were about to kill their children and themselves and they let the dog go free.
Girl,
they said, let's let Corn Pop go free. He deserves to live his life. He'll be fine. But fuck them kids though. They gonna die with us.
Speechless. I caught that too. Girl.
I want y'all to know this is how many Black people feel about the hierarchy of life.
You gonna tell our business, Ashley?
Yes, because y'all should know. Anyone of the non-Black persuasion should understand this is genuinely how a consensus of us feel about the hierarchy of life, that you would value the life of your dog over the lives of these Black children, that an animal's life is more valuable than a Black child's life. Y'all don't understand how completely upsetting that is to witness, because it is such a reality that only we can speak to and experience and understand.
Yeah.
And we have the history to back it up. We not making this shit up.
That part.
Anyway, let's move on to episode 2. We are back with the squad, and they are in Europe. Alfred, aka Paperboy, is on tour with Ern, still working as his manager, and Darius, I guess, along for the ride, because Darius ain't got no job, right?
Darius is just always there.
He just living his best life. He's clearly Paperboy, that is, been doing his thing, and money seems to no longer be an issue, right? Ern asked for $20K, Paperboy got it and just threw it. You know what I'm saying? He's living his best life. Paperboy was in jail, though, if you could really call it that, after a memorable night with some women in his hotel. Van comes out to Amsterdam, apparently attempting to figure out her life, and goes on a random adventure with Darius after finding an address in the pocket of a coat she purchased. And then the possible assisted suicide of Tupac ensues. Y'all are trifling for that, by the way.
So, Ashley, you want to know what's funny? I fell asleep on that. You know, we were trying to watch back-to-back episodes. I fell asleep on it because, you know, how my life is right now. David finished watching it, and I, woke up at the end. I was like, were they trying to say that was really Tupac?
Yeah. When they played Hail Mary, it took me out. Delora.
And David was like, no. But I was like,
yes,
when I dozed off, I was like, they're really trying to say that's Tupac. And then it was Lakeith's character that was like, I felt that thug vibe. I was like, what?
And I feel like
Darius
is really Lakeith. Like, I feel like this is the closest to Lakeith of any character he plays. Like, I legit think this is him. But to your point, yes, they're trying to say that was Tupac. I wish you had watched it when it premiered in real time, because Twitter, y'all never let me down. It was insanity the night that these shows premiered, okay?
Because it's doing a lot. It's doing a lot.
Wild. Like, the mind of Donald Glover must be a wild place, and all the writers on the show, because I try to not make it seem like it's just him. So Paperboy refuses to perform due to a bunch of white kids in blackface for the supposed Dutch version of Santa called Santa Claus. And Ern almost gets a beat down by the guy who runs the venue. So we talked a little bit about the whole Tupac situation, but give me your thoughts on episode 2. Do you think that Ern has COVID? And where can I get 300 pieces of fried chicken at 4 a.m.?
Okay, so with episode 1, we realized that it was actually a dream, right? And then
it was all a dream.
Oh, and I was going to also say, too, the way that couple dealt with their adopted Black kids, it was almost like they were accessories or some type of thing to get, right? And check off some boxes. Like, we have Black adopted children. Like,
we will never understand these motivations for these people who decided to murder their children.
Chile. But yeah, it was so good to see the crew. They all looked amazing.
Except for white supremacy, I guess that could have ultimately been the goal. I'm sorry, guys. I'm thinking as I'm talking. Like, I'm thinking it through. Like, did they make a pact of, like, we're going to adopt some Black children to kill some Black children? You know what I mean? You know?
Oof.
Go ahead, Delora.
Like some get out shit, right?
No, for real. Like, legit.
Real life. Yeah.
Legit.
Again, with the level of humor that Atlanta is giving a lot as of late, right? Paperboy in jail being real comfortable.
So comfortable.
Like, but you realize it was a good looking jail, right? He was wearing good looking.
His uniform, his scrubs, whatever it is you call it. Yeah. I mean, he got to take a nap. He got a good meal. He stayed for the meal. He stayed for the meal. Lord, he could have been released. He stayed for the meal. His guard, they was chopping it up. Like, I was like, is this what Rihanna's boo went through when he went to prison?
A$AP.
Is this what he went through? This is the prison he went to?
They got IKEA furniture up in that.
They giving meatballs. They giving Swedish meatballs.
With the potatoes. Not the powdered stuff. I did like the storyline that they were going with ZZ's. You know, you realize that she's at a crossroads in her life and she's like down for an adventure. But who would have figured out where she would end on this spontaneous trip? Because the screams, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed at that part because I was like, this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous.
I'm laughing so hard because y'all don't understand. When you have the death doula talk about how peaceful this moment is about to be. And like, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm like, yeah, bro, this is about to be so peaceful. And then as soon as she clicked the button, I was like, what's happening?
And then it sounds like an awful sound. That was not a peaceful sound. And then it was like whoosh. All the screams. And they just sat there.
Get chopped off, I'll be honest.
But everyone stood there.
A little bit.
Everyone stood there.
But did he know it was coming? Like, did he sign up for this form of death?
Really, this ain't peaceful.
Is that Dr. Kevorkian? You know,
no,
did
he at least used to shoot
exactly. Exactly. Dr. Kevorkian at least sedated you. Like, did he know this was how she was going to kill him with saran wrap?
Because suffocating is no way to go.
No,
no, thank
painful.
you.
It's supposed to be extremely painful. But man, I'm sorry. That it was hilarious though, especially like Van's face. She was like nobody knew how to react because nobody
didn't know what to do. She did not know what to do
because she went over thinking, "Oh, I'm about to have this moment." Because the death doula had been like kind of giving her some words of encouragement, you know, prior. I tell you what, death doulas. I would love to get a reaction for a real life death doula to be like, that was played. We do not do that. Like, we do not do assisted suicides over here.
The screams. It was the screams for me that I'm like, yo, this is the complete opposite of everything to your point. Oh my gosh.
But no, I am really curious though if Ern has COVID because it feels like that's what we're building up to. Like there has to be maybe some remnants of like what was going on in real life. And then I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Van. There's some speculating that Van and Darius are going to get together this season, and I'm not for that. I don't want the intermixing between friends. I mean, that's his baby mama. Like, there's a whole kid. Like, I don't want to see that.
No,
I don't want to see it. And back to episode 1 real quick. What did you think of Laquarius's mother essentially handing his ass over to CPS? She's like, get him out of here before I kill him.
I thought she was just going to call his bluff, but that obviously did not happen. But
kicked his whole ass out the house.
She was tired, though. She was tired of his behavior. But to be honest, I didn't think his behavior was that bad.
Exactly. I was like, that's harsh. Like, I was almost thinking, like, this is why he behaves the way he behaves, because it seems like his home life is not necessarily great. But that wasn't the message I don't think they were trying to send. You know what I mean? I think the message is supposed to be more so, don't be out here shucking and jiving for these white folks because look what happened.
And CPS was called because he was slapped by his grandfather or something?
Yes, when they came to the school. Yeah. Remember the mom was like, they gonna kill you. Remember? That was she was saying, they gonna kill you. You up here dancing, but they gonna kill you. So it's supposed to be a little more of a scary, like, this is what could happen type of vibe. But, you know, overall, these first 2 episodes were completely unexpected.
And like we mentioned previously, they stand alone pretty well.
Girl, it was an emotional roller coaster. And now I know I need to have a drink in my hand for these next couple because I don't know what to expect. So tequila or whiskey, you just let me know, Donald. You just let me know. Any final thoughts before we wrap this microdose?
He's trying to get his Emmy. That's all.
I mean, final 2 seasons. Oh, I do want to make a mention too of Malia Obama and the fact that she's going to be working with him on his next project, High, for Amazon. I didn't know she had been trying her hand in the entertainment world. I read that she had been working on some other projects too. I was like, where have I been?
Girl, yeah, that was always major news. I'm excited for her. That Amazon project, though, you know, Phoebe was on that originally and she dropped out.
Phoebe from Fleabag.
Fleabag. Mm-hmm.
I think I did hear about that, actually. They had like creative differences.
Yep.
As was reported. And to me, that would make sense because they probably have two totally different approaches and styles and personalities, possibly for like the creative process. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Delora, that's it, sis. That's it for headlines, hot topics, and the microdose. We have to wait and see what's going to happen with Slapgate. I feel like it's going to continue on for a while. And I will say this, as crazy as it is, and it's not to diminish it, that was some crazy fucking television. Like, girl, in the history of television, that was some crazy fucking television.
Again, it's going to overshadow his Oscar win, which he deserved. And I felt like people clapping for him clapped for his 30 years of work.
I agree.
He had an awful moment, but I just refuse to let him go after something like this because it's so out of character. His own mama said it was out of character.
I mean, we have all these inspirational quotes out here too, talking about we're not the sum of the worst things we've ever done and all of that. Where is that in moments like this?
Yeah.
In Hollywood, y'all are so dramatic. Like some of these statements, again, that's why I'm like, I feel like some people are just parroting each other. Like the lady who tweeted the thing about, imagine if he had slapped Betty White and she had fallen and cracked her head and all this. Like, y'all have got to chill. If y'all have never seen somebody get slapped, I don't know where y'all grew up. Like, I really don't. So, you know, I feel like this is something we're going to be talking about for years to come, though. Like, where were you when? But again, I hope these two amazingly accomplished Black men are able to move on from this moment.
Absolutely.
And that's all I got, sis. What are we recapping for the peoples next week?
Sorry, you guys, it's not Bridgerton yet. But it is going to be a lot of fun. We are recapping Turning Red. Disney Pixar film came out this year. A lot of fun. Check it out.
Loved this movie, Delora. I'm so glad you're recapping it, girl. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.